What if there was a show about traveling to parallel worlds, the same year, the same Earth, only different dimensions? A world where the Russians ruled America, or where your dreams of being a superstar came true, or where San Francisco was a maximum security prison. We started a podcast talking about it, inviting some friends to join us. Now we hope you all come along for the ride.
Howdy there, Sliders fans. Welcome to FANDOM Entanglement, Season 2, Episode 5 of The Good, the Bad, and the Wealthy. I'm going to stop now. You tell me, was mine worse or was Arturo's accent worse? So...
I don't know. I don't know, yeah. The Good, the Bad, and the Wealthy, yeah.
So, of course, I'll say this in my regular voice now. We're talking about Sliders, Season 2, Episode 5, The Good, the Bad, and the Wealthy. My name is Mike Bloxam, and I'm joined today with my co-host, Damon Sugameli.
Howdy, everybody. I don't have
we have our... button, but... yeah, I'm lucky I found this one.
Mm-hmm.
And today we have our returning guest, Erik Dreiling.
Howdy.
You already got a little accent thing going on because you're from Texas anyway. So I did not realize that when I asked you, he's like, can you do us a favor and do this? And I'm like, wait, he's from Texas. So it's actually perfect. Anyway, welcome back, Erik. Thanks for joining us for this one.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. I know you were on once before, but you want to just remind everybody what you've been up to. I mean, you're going to join us again in a few episodes, but if you want to, right now.
No, it's just mostly been kept busy with my writing. Author of the Fractured Timeline series, and I'm currently wrapping up the first draft of the final entry in the series. So that's been keeping me quite busy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about it beforehand, yeah. So, Erik, you have your best Sliders whisper?
Oh, try it.
You want to wait till the next time, you can do it the next time. I mean, I don't know. You want to...
Oh, you know what? Why not? It's all for the sake of entertainment. I'm going to go ahead and try it.
Okay, all right.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Sliders.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right. We might as well just get right into it, Mike, if you want to do the...
yeah, sure.
The little rundown, yeah.
Let's jump on in. So, this episode originally aired March 22nd, 1996. And from the DVDs, on a world where everything west of the Mississippi is part of the nation of Texas, corporate lawyers carry on the gunslinging ways of the Old West. After Quinn gets mixed up in a showdown, he gains the reputation of fastest draw in San Francisco and tries to prevent the hostile takeover of a family-owned computer company. We've got our regular cast of Jerry O'Connell as Quinn Mallory, Sabrina Lloyd as Wade Wells, Clavant Derricks as Rembrandt Crying Man Brown, and John Rhys-Davies as Professor Maximilian Arturo. We had quite the guest star cast in this episode. The main guest stars being Karen Witter as Priscilla Hardaway, Jamie Denton as Jack Bullock, Kent Falcon as Billy Ray Bledsoe, and Keegan McIntosh as Jamie Hardaway. And as always, I've done my deep dive to see all the other sci-fi connections or what have you.
Oh, well, Mike, I was going to say, actually, I forgot to add it in here. I was going to say Jamie Denton. I'm the one thing I know he's from, I think, is what was that show? Desperate Housewives? Was that it? I think he was in that. You know what?
I didn't see anything on his list that I knew, but
he is a big. Oh, I forgot to add that in. I'll look it up if you want to. I can come back to it if you want to get back to your thing.
I'll I'll go on the deep dive here. So Keegan McIntosh was in Babylon 5: The Lost Tales, which was a 2007 miniseries, as none other than Prince Regent Dias Vintari, who's the son of the previous emperor that got deposed. If you've watched Babylon 5, you know what I'm talking about. And Keegan was also in a season 1 episode of The X-Files. We had a number of other... Yeah. That happens a lot between Sliders and X-Files. There's a lot of overlap, as you'll see momentarily. So Peter Lacroix played the sheriff. He was in 3 separate episodes of The X-Files in 3 different roles. So that seems to happen a lot, too, to people. Lachlan Monroe as Billy the Kid, and this was a face I knew right away because a few years back I was watching Riverdale, and he plays Hal Cooper, Betty's father. And also he has over 280 credits on IMDb, so he's been in a lot. I'd forgotten he was also in season 1 of Lucifer. And another, I guess, Western connection, he was also in the 1994 movie Wagons East. Which was, of course, John Candy's last film.
Oh, all right.
I think he died during the filming of that.
Oh, really?
Of that movie, yeah.
Okay.
There were a lot of odd filming choices they had to make to finish it, with kind of his back to the camera a lot, and not actually being him. But we also have Greg Thurlaway, who played Hank Arnett. Who had 2 roles in 2 episodes of The X-Files. Barry Levy as Jed Dalton, who Quinn takes out in the start of the episode. I had to go through his credits because I knew him from somewhere, and I think I recognized him from a season 2 episode of Travelers, which is a pretty cool time travel show from a couple of years back. He also played 2 roles in 3 different episodes of The X-Files. And finally, Adrian Hughes as Deputy Joe Bob. He had a lot of one-off appearances on shows such as Battlestar Galactica, Jeremiah, 7 Days, The X-Files, but he was also a series regular doing additional voices on Sonic Underground, which, I think I mentioned that show a few recordings ago. My kids and I have been watching that because they got on this whole Sonic kick, and now we're up to Sonic Underground, so it's kind of funny seeing all these folks who you see on screen, and then all of a sudden they're doing voices too. So
yeah.
And there were a lot of other cast members, but none of them had anything that really jumped out at me. So nothing they've done wrong, just nothing I've watched.
Yeah.
So
did
you have some info about Jamie Denton?
I'll just get back to that. I think that's probably what I recognized him from. I'm doing like a Wikipedia search, and that's like his main role. He's known for playing Mike Delfino on Desperate Housewives.
There you go.
He was on that for like, I guess, 8 seasons or something. I think he was also it said 2004 to 2012. I don't know if he was on for the whole series, but I know he had a regular role on that. And not that I've seen this, but I have seen that he's on the Good Witch. It's like on the Hallmark channel. So he's on that too.
Okay.
But he has one of those faces. I've seen him around, so I just didn't want to point that out. Yeah.
I keep expecting some of these people to have been on Quantum Leap or something, because
I know.
I just go, I know this guy, or I know this girl. Where are they from?
Yeah. Okay.
So this episode was written by Scott Miller and directed by Oscar Costo. And Worlds Visited, as designated by EarthPrime.com, is Lone Star World. Self-describing. Previously, the only world mentioned was Arturo. From a world of dust to a world of dung.
Yeah, because on Earth Prime they say Dust World, but we didn't actually see them go there. That's what he said.
No.
So, right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
we got first impressions.
Yeah.
Well, you take it away here, Eric.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it was the opening shot. You see the old Western road. You see like the saloons and the rustic building, and then it's set against the modern day cityscape. So I thought right there, it was a real attention grabber. Because I know in some episodes of Sliders, it's not always so clear. Okay, well, what makes this world different? This one here, it shows you in the first like 2 seconds. So I thought that was really interesting, and it helped set the tone of this episode.
Okay. I think that for me, and I think I said this with Quantum Leap, that Westerns, they're not really my favorite genre, so this isn't really that much different. And even though it's not a Western in the traditional sense, I get enough of that Western feel, and it just kind of like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it bores me necessarily, but like I don't get necessarily excited by Westerns. I mean, even Back to the Future 3, I think I've said that before, like I still love it, but it's like my least favorite because the setting is just, I'm not really into the Western setting too much. And I felt like there wasn't a lot of humor in this one either. It had its moments, but there wasn't much of it. So it's probably so far, it's definitely my least favorite of season 2. I think that's how I felt the first time. This actually might have been another one I missed on the first run, and I might have caught it when they did like the summer reruns or something. So
okay.
That's my first impression of it. I just remember not being like, I think I actually missed it the first time. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, I didn't have any strong recollections about this one either, but I did find it fairly enjoyable. Some of the business jargon was a bit, I feel like, over my head, or it was, and of course it applied in this extrapolated sense of the Old West way of law keeping, which sometimes I think it made it hard to follow exactly how things were happening, despite understanding why. So it just kind of distracted a bit, but to me it was, you're right, it was on the more serious side, but I feel like it was executed well, and they did sprinkle in some humor throughout, and well within kind of the Sliders ethos, in my humble opinion.
Okay. All right. So according to earthprime.com, we're getting into the alternate history here. And it said, I don't know if they actually said it in the episode. It says the San Francisco is actually part of the nation of Texas. So it's not the United States. It's like the country is Texas.
It's the Republic of Texas.
It's the Republic of Texas.
No, I believe it was said by Arturo. It was like a quick like reference. It was like a kind of like a blink and you'll miss it, but he does throw it out there while he's getting everybody caught up. So
there's a map in the interview room when Quinn is being interrogated by the sheriff in the background. In another blink, if you miss it.
Oh, I see it right
very
here.
Very quick. Yeah, and there's the Republic of Texas. It's basically Texas and everything westward. And then they got the United States just as they are on the other side of the map. So
okay, I see it right here.
It's unfortunate they didn't make that more front and center somewhere. That would have really helped set the scene, I think, pretty solidly. But okay. So that's okay. I give it points for that. Then that's okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's a nice little tidbit, if you will. But they could have made it a bit juicier by having Quinn maybe glare at it for 5 seconds or something, rather than
or he walks into the room and does a double take.
Because
he sees the map.
Yeah. Okay, so this is definitely not the United States. This is Texas. Okay, yeah.
The Republic of Texas.
Yep. So the history basically is during the Civil War, when the North was embroiled in bitter fighting with the southern state. Texas, which was barely a state and was still hotly contested territory with the Mexicans, solidified its hold as a sovereign nation and began gobbling up land north and west of its borders. Without the troops to stop them, the United States and the Republic of Mexico let this formidable country expand in size and power to the state it is today. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, it's an interesting history. I think I just wasn't sure how I felt about the. It's like a hybrid of the Western. It's like, apparently Tracy Torme even said it. They don't think it was executed very well. Like, is this a Western or is this like a modern day thing? Like, they don't know how well it was executed. So, anyway, Oh, so you kind of said this before, Eric, about the transition. You wanted to. It was like pretty much right here as we get in, right? With the yeah.
Yeah, we can jump into the plot breakdown now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You get a little bit of like modern day, and then the way they kind of switch scenes and they go back to like the saloon or something. It's I can understand how it can be kind of like jarring for a moment, but then it really does fit in because you get the modern day, but then it really reflects the characters' like mentality, their actions, and it really helps to kind of set it up. Because if you had all these gunslingers sitting in a modern day tavern, it's like no. But the stock ticker above the bar, that I actually laughed at that when you walk in and there's a modern day stock ticker over that bar.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was kind of funny.
I agree with you there, Eric. I feel like they did a really fantastic job setting the world here and describing why the world the way it is, which is missing in a lot of Sliders episodes, where you kind of get the why they're like this now, and where it all started.
Right.
Yeah, and then the kid sees him pop out of the wormhole. So.
Yes, yeah, and I like Quinn's attempt to explain their appearance. We're a troupe of magicians practicing our act. It felt very Sam Beckett to me for some reason. Just the way Sam would sometimes explain things to kids who could see him or who could see Al.
Oh yeah, are you an angel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and then Arturo is trying his best Western accent, as we were saying before. It's like, where can we get some chow? He sounded like he did it okay, actually. I mean, it didn't. There was a little bit of a British accent in there still, I guess, but it wasn't bad the way he said it. I don't know.
I think it fit. Like it just added, whether or not they intended for it to add the humor, it did because it made Arturo awkward. Like he's like
extremely.
You don't see him awkward. He usually knows what to say, how to say it, but this time he's trying to pull off like a John Wayne or something. It's John Wayne.
Oh, I do see, Mike, that you say you thought it was pretty awful, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was awful and just like kind of a pointless thing for him to try out. As if the kid wouldn't understand him the way he speaks normally. Just seemed needless to me. Awkward's a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then they're walking away, and he makes that remark about children and their guns. Wade had to be really smug when she corrected him. She's like, "Boy, children." She has a lot to say lately. Like, really, she has a lot to say lately. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or if that's her way of feeling like she didn't do much in season 1, Sabrina Lloyd. I don't know, but yeah. And then and you have the comments about the when they're reading the menu.
Well, yeah, Jamie directs them to he calls it the Wall Street Saloon, but more about that later. As they're outside reading the menu, Arturo quips, "Not too much for vegetarians there," and that was my thoughts exactly. As a vegetarian, I saw them reading down this menu. Everything's a steak.
Oh. Yes.
So it's kind of funny.
Rembrandt's like, steak and eggs, potatoes. It was like, oh, T-bone steak. It was just like everything. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, they just, I didn't know that you were a vegetarian, Mike.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I didn't know that. Okay, well. Yeah, and then they're seeing all the pictures on the wall of all the past presidents that were from Texas, and George Bush, LBJ, and then Quinn pointed out Sam Houston was the first president of the Republic of Texas, and then Wade is like, it scares me that you know that. How would he know that? It does make me wonder, how would he know that? I guess he learned that in school? I don't know.
Oh, maybe Quinn also has an interest in history in general. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's a pretty smart kid.
Yeah. And then so Eric, you want to chime in with the gunfights and everything?
That was like one of the, I guess you could say, nitpicks I had. It was, the episode was obviously modeled after, the Old West and how a lot of their customs and social norms kind of carried over to the modern day. However, when they're quick to draw their revolvers and they're about to throw some lead across the saloon, it's kind of like, okay, in the actual Old West, gunfights weren't really that common, contrary to popular belief, what we've seen in movies and TV shows. But when they did happen, people ran. They didn't stick around to see who was going to catch the bullet. And rarely, if ever, gunfights happen in the saloons, because on Sundays, for saloons in towns that did not have a church, the saloon was used as the church. The reverend, the reverend come over, and for that hour, he would conduct his sermon. There was no smoking, no drinking, no gambling allowed. And if you didn't follow that religion, you were, you had to wait outside, but you were respectable, and you waited outside until it was done, and then you'd go back in. So, to see them just throw it down in the saloon, I was kind of that kind of pulled me out of the story a little bit. I'm just I get it's an alternate world, but realistically, someone whips out a revolver. I'm not going to stick around and go, hey, who's going to catch the bullet this time? Nah, it's going to be, I'm out.
Yeah, I know.
Or I'm hitting the ground. So it was a little much.
Yeah. And then Quinn thinks he killed the guy. And it's like, Arturo is gone not 5 minutes, and he's already in trouble. And even he's like, already? Like you can tell he's in disbelief. Like, how could you get in trouble this quickly? All I did was go off to try to find a book about what's going on in this world. And it's like you already got taken away by the police.
Like convicted of murder. Wait, what?
I know, and it's like, this is kind of something I'm noticing here, and I say it again later on, but it's like they're just strolling and minding their own business, and he's involving himself in this fight that's literally breaking out as they're walking in. He's like, hey, knock it off, jerk, or whatever. Like, did it ever occur to you, Quinn, to think maybe we don't know this world's customs? Maybe it's not a good idea to interfere until we know more about what's going on. I mean, and then we're hearing all those names: Joe Bob, Billy Ray, and then later on we hear Honey Sue. Oh, it's like, oy vey.
I saw that in your notes. I'm like, why didn't I think? Because I saw that and I was thinking the same thing. It's like all those names. It's like way too stereotypical.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cliches in the names of this in this episode, among other things. But...
Yeah. Yeah. But the case in point with that is Wade is they're talking. She's like, you guys are talking about the geography and all this history when we should be finding a lawyer. And Wade, could you stop and think for a minute? We need to know. Like Arturo says, forewarned is forearmed. Unless we know what we're up against, how can we possibly help him? Duh, Wade. Come on, really. And then that's when Jamie comes and he says, oh, Quinn, he's telling his mom that Quinn fell out of the sky like an avenging angel, just like the Mighty Morphin Texas Rangers on TV. Which I missed. I did the rewatch and I missed that the first time. I'm like, oh, he said that's funny.
Oh, yeah, I caught it the first time. I laughed out loud both times. That was a great little nugget of 1990s.
Yeah. We have it on here too. We watch it. My mother-in-law watches Walker Texas Ranger, and even Ciro is like, he's like, that's Walker Texas Ranger. I'm like, yeah, it's like every 5 minutes there's just somebody punching somebody. That's what the show's about.
He's been released from the police station. He's now at the office for Bullock.
Right. Oh, that's right. And they ask him where he got his law degree. He says he doesn't have one. It's like, oh, so you're a maverick, huh? We like that around here.
Yeah.
And just seeing him trying to bluff his way through, that's what. Of course, that's what I meant. It's the moments like that where the later seasons didn't really have a whole lot of those. It was just action hero Quinn, and so it was funny to revisit that and remember, that's where a lot of the show's humor came from, was just the one-off reactions. So,
yeah, and it seemed like he was also like he was talking about how like we're like people friendly and all this stuff, and like Bullock is almost flippantly waving his hand. He's like, we're environmentally conscious. Like it's just like this little thing, like he's like almost required to say it. Maybe is that what that
right?
meant? I think right. And then they zoom in on Quinn, and that's the shot of Jerry in the opening credits.
Yes, I noticed that too. Yep, that sly look, eyes going back and forth. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Billy Ray takes him out for a night on the town.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the guy confronts him, and Billy. Oh, so Billy Ray is the one that shoots him and kills him, but Quinn feels responsible, so he comes back to the hotel, plastered, to quote Wade.
Yep.
One of the few. It's actually kind of sad because he's like I can tell it's like he's like that because he's got this weighing on his conscience. But it's still kind of funny seeing him just trying to be drunk. I feel like he does kind of pull it off. I feel like he's like just like he's like belching and he just like collapses on the bed and you can tell he's just so.
There was
feeling
a little scene with Billy Ray, like after he took the shot and saved Quinn. If you notice, when he turns his back, Quinn's still standing there, like, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And Billy Ray already has that look of like, okay, is this really the guy that took out the fastest draw? Like he had. It was a brief look. They didn't spend too much time on it, but it was just enough before he sipped his beer. But he had that look of, are you sure this is the guy? Like, so it was just that questionable look at the end, right before they changed.
I actually looked at it more as if like he was like, I don't believe it. Like it almost seemed like Billy Ray was like, he had this look on his face like he didn't like doing what he just did, but he felt like it was like that's kind of how I interpreted it. Look. Mm-hmm.
I can understand that one too, but I interpret it more as he was starting to question the validity of Quinn's super gunslinger status. It was just like, if he really was that good of a gunslinger, he shouldn't have hesitated like that. He would have just whipped out the 6-shooter and took care of business. So he froze. He
also had a beer in his hand, though. He didn't have much time to put down the beer and pull out his gun.
Yeah. Well, Mike, you had more to say about the.
Well, I like that hotel scene. It's funny because Quinn comes in. He's mostly coherent, but obviously inebriated. But I love how he slaps himself in the face trying to get his shirt off. I laughed every time I watched it. He's got some good physical humor in this episode because, and then the next morning when Priscilla comes in and gives him the prairie oyster drink, he just takes a sip and goes, "That's awful."
You're like, that's how you know it's working.
That's how you know it's working. Yeah.
What prairie oyster? I don't even know what. I can't even imagine what that is. I don't know.
Some versions, it's a mixture of various drinks. I know a lot of them contain like hot sauces.
Okay.
Because the spice is supposed to kind of like shock you out of your the hangover stupor. So
it's like Back to the Future 3 when he says, let's make some wake-up juice, and they're pouring all the stuff, like all the different stuff in. Okay, that's what that is.
Those drinks went under like various names. So judging how he reacted to it, I wouldn't say it was so much spicy. It was just nasty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Probably almost like a cough medicine type thing. It's just
probably like Robitussin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so Priscilla does introduce herself to Wade as the president of Hardaway Computers, and then Wade is like, "I know who you are, but I don't know if I missed something. I don't know. How does she know who she is?"
It wasn't mentioned in this episode, but my headcanon was that I think Wade knows who she is because maybe there's a Hardaway Computers on Earth Prime.
Yeah.
And Wade, being in the computer business, would be familiar with the bigger players. But that's my only guess. You're right. It wasn't explained how she already knew that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she's talking with Quinn, and then this is when we find out that she's the one who actually shot Jed Dalton because he killed her husband, right? That was what it was.
Yeah.
He murdered him in cold blood, and it did. feel like Quinn should have been a little more relieved about that. He wasn't acting like he was. I mean, he just had this man's death on his conscience, and now it's like it's like almost like a matter of fact. Like I don't know, it's just something I noticed. I feel like he should have reacted more to that, but he didn't seem like he did. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a glossed over it. Like you'd think that'd be a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. Like, oh, thank God I didn't kill someone.
Yeah, like just a little acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, like I was like, oh, I've been like torturing myself over this because even. Yeah. I mean, even Arturo had something to say. It's in the lines later on, but like he was trying to comfort him in the hotel room. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. After that revelation is when Billy Ray comes to pick him up and go to the shooting range. But just a filming location note, I noticed in the background there's a visible Royal Bank building, which is one of the major banks in Canada. So it's possible they expanded to Texas by 1994.
Yeah,
96.
Oh, 96, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When Quinn was firing, he was hitting everything else, but he was hitting the trough, took out Billy Ray's tire.
Right.
Yeah.
That did, it did remind me a little bit of, well, I say it later on too, but this reminds me a little bit of The Last Gunfighter in Quantum Leap, right? With was it that particular episode, or was it just something where I feel like it reminded me of that with Sam trying to shoot a gun and not really Was
and
it
then
The Last
Pat
Gunfighter?
Knight came up behind him and took everything out. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then I should have looked this up beforehand as to who Jim Bowie was, because Billy Ray asked him to give him his Jim Bowie on the dotted line instead of, like you say, John Hancock. So it must be something in Texas. I don't know. I found that interesting. You know, Eric, or what the Jim Bowie thing is?
I should. I've lived here long enough, but I'm actually from California.
Oh, okay.
Jim Bowie was a military officer and a landowner, and he was also a slave trader.
Okay. Okay, side note, Eric. Sorry. I thought you were in Texas. No? Did I get it wrong?
No. You're absolutely right. I'm here
you're from
because
California, and then you moved to Texas.
Yeah, because I was in the Army, and I was stationed at Fort Bliss, and after I got out, I just never left.
Oh, okay. I thought I got it wrong from Ed. Sorry, I interrupted that a minute. I was like, wait a minute, did I just... Okay.
No, the only actual Texan in my family is my son, and he was born at William Beaumont, so he is an actual Texan.
Oh, okay. All right. I could. I know it's a tangent. I could leave that in. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. So yeah, we're just kind of like jumping through things, but we do learn that Rembrandt is a really good poker player.
Yes.
He has to sit in for her. She's like, just make sure my assets are like, don't lose too much of it while I get the other guy who basically we see is hanging or was murdered. Looked like a suicide thing. Yeah, he had a full house and he just folded. He's like, I fold.
Yeah.
But once they actually set him loose, he was wiping the floor. He was. That was funny when Wade is. When he's like, look at these cards, girl. And she's like, all I see is a bunch of hearts that don't match. He's like, you see all the guys are like, oh, they were already like putting their hands down. That's a flush, right? The hearts that don't match, that's a flush. That's a really good hand.
It's an excellent hand, yes.
That's a really good hand. And I just love the way he is. He's like, help me get this money. He's like, ha ha ha. And he's like grabbing it all up. That was a real funny moment. That one of the few that I really liked, that I enjoyed.
Well, in one of those scenes with him and the cards, he's waving his finger like this with the cards. That's the shot from the credits for Rembrandt. So
yeah, that's his shot.
Two shots from this episode are in the opening scene, opening credits.
Yeah. But yeah, so this also reminds me of The Last Gunfighter, with the subplot with Jamie stealing Quinn's gun and confronting the bad guy. That just seems an awful lot like The Last Gunfighter.
Right. Well, that's before Jamie comes in. I like their conversation there with Billy the Kid. They're talking about the information superhighway and synergies. It's just like, I just love how it dates the filming of the show to the mid 90s, but it also brings into reality why he wants to buy Hardaway's company so he can get his hands on her computer chip and really, really propel the World Wide Web.
It's also where Wade again is just kind of, as I said before, she really does seem to complain a lot, and Arturo has to actually tell her, "Stop wittering for a moment, woman. I might have a chance to think." And she's really like, what? So what is it? What is it that's going on here that she was complaining about this time?
She was complaining about guns. Basically, she said it'd be nice to slide to a civilized world where guns haven't even been invented.
Because everything,
this civilization is just settling basically everything through gunfights, and I mean, she has a point, but Arturo was also, I felt like, a little too harshly dismissive of her. Like, she's just expressing her dismay about the world, but there's a nicer way to say, let's just take a break and try to think of something.
Because there's a time and a place, and it's like, you can ponder this stuff later on, but it's like, this is what you're dealing with now, and it's like, you can't help the way this world is. This is just what's going on here, and
but I mean, Arturo was crusty, so it fits the character.
No, that's a good point too. I mean, it's kind of a funny line, but it's like, that's Arturo for you. He just like, so I'm kind of glossing over the rest of this because this is like all like the last 5 minutes or so. They do introduce Billy the Kid, but before that, I think it's all connected to that. I admittedly have never seen Shane, but apparently Tracy Torme touched up some stuff in the script. He added some things because he didn't write it, but he added to the final script that the intentions, the parallels were intentional to Shane, especially in the ending. So I don't know. I have not seen Shane. Okay, so I take it you haven't seen it either, Eric. You haven't seen Shane?
No, I've heard of it, but it's one of those movies you've heard about, but you've never seen yourself. So.
Okay. All right, so people in the comments, if you want to tell us what the parallels are to Shane.
Yes.
I just figured I'd point it out because that's what Tracy Torme said, because we're getting into the ending, so apparently the ending is where it really stands out. But I'll just take this. I was doing this right beforehand. This is taken directly from earthprime.com, that the Torme adds that the one interesting plot line that was never fully developed for the screen was to have the Billy the Kid character as an alternate of Microsoft CEO Bill Gates. That's what I always heard, that he was supposed to be Billy the Kid Gates.
Yeah.
And in fact, a Fox press release even bills Lachlan Monroe. It lists his character as Billy the Kid Gates, but the idea was never brought to the screen. And Tracy Torme said that originally they were going to see if Bill Gates would actually do it himself, but then they realized he probably wouldn't do it. And they were going to get a lookalike for him, and the idea was that this guy with glasses, and he's kind of nearsighted, he gets off the train, and it's supposed to be Bill Gates. So that is kind of funny, because you don't really get that in the episode, but I do remember hearing that years ago, that it was supposed to be like Billy the Kid Gates.
That would have been interesting. That really would have been neat to see on the screen.
Yeah. That is, I mean, it is a very interesting idea. I mean, that would fit right in with what they did with Sliders and all these weird cameos, and so.
Speaking of Billy the Kid, just a filming comment, I guess. It looks like the shot of Lachlan Monroe's outdoor scenes are done at night, despite Quinn and everyone else looks kind of normal under overcast noon hour skies like it's supposed to be, but every time they go over to Billy the Kid, it looks like he's lit up in the dark. And then you never see him on screen with anyone else during that shootout scene. So I wonder if they had to refilm it at some point, or maybe they were hoping to get Bill Gates and then and then shoehorned him in afterwards. I don't know, but it just I'm interested to know why that particular scene he's filmed. It's pretty obvious. It was more obvious to me, the second time around. The first time I thought the lighting was off, but the second time I was like, what is this? He's actually not in the same studio as everyone else.
I didn't notice that, and I watched it twice. Although I watched it last night, and I was like really tired while I was watching it because I was like trying to get it in.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I didn't notice that. So that's a good catch. That's probably what it was. They probably just shot it at a different time, and maybe they just, like you said, Mike, the lighting maybe, and that's probably what it was.
Yeah. And well, just overall, one piece of information we didn't get in this episode is how long are they on this world? Nobody reads it out from the timer, which is kind of a normal part of each episode, but not necessary. But I'm guessing it was all of about maybe 2 days. It felt like it seemed like they arrived the one afternoon, they spent the one night in the hotel.
Like 3 days, really. But I did. Now that you mention it, it is that's an interesting point. They never look at the timer. I don't even think you see it at all.
I don't think we see the timer in this episode.
No.
Yeah.
Now that you think about it.
Well, outside of when he does it at the end, it's like, I'll pull the trigger, and then he shoots the thing.
And that's it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't notice that either. I'm like, they usually do tell you at least how long they're there.
You usually have the close-up shot of the timer's display, and you see the exact time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we should have a little bit more to say about the episode, but that's what I got in my notes. Anything else you guys can think of that we didn't talk about, or that we should talk about for it before we get into other stuff? Or
the only thing I can possibly add to this is that there's a comment that I made earlier about the difference in Quinn's character. Like in this one, he's still more cautious. He tends to think things through more, although sometimes he gives in to anger and he acts impulsively. The later seasons, it's just straight up action hero fare, and it's just a complete opposite from the Quinn that we were following for the first 2 seasons. So to revisit this episode and see how he responded under that kind of duress, it was a kind of a reminder of like what kind of made Sliders an enjoyable show. You had your hero characters, but they weren't parading themselves around as heroes.
Sure.
You want to get on to the goofs that you got one that you know.
Here's the goof I alluded to earlier. When Jamie tells the Sliders they can go to the Wall Street Saloon, despite the signage clearly says Lamplighter Saloon.
Oh, okay.
But I wondered if that was because the Lamplighter, that happens to be the name of the Dominion Hotel's in-house restaurant and pub. So you'll remember that mostly from Time Again in World. They actually say they actually say the name in the script, and then they show it. That's where the guys on the video lottery terminal and where they have their drinks and all that. So I thought maybe that was supposed to be a replacement for it in this world, but then they called it one thing in the script and had different props in the shooting. So They said they were going to the Dominion Hotel. Was it actually? Were they just saying that? Was it actually called the Dominion Hotel? Because I feel like it would be. Was it No, it was the Wall Street Saloon. I think I was a little confused about that because we actually. No, so Quinn says, "Meet me back at the hotel," or "I'll see you back at the hotel," something like that. Now they haven't checked in yet, but I think that's just because every time they slide, they go to the Dominion Hotel, which is where the three of them are on the street, and then they meet up with Priscilla and Jamie before they go in to the doors, which I think they're actually going into the doors of the casino, which appear to be on the back of the hotel, because you could barely see the sign of the hotel as they're walking down the sidewalk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then later Rembrandt says something about the nice thing about going to the same hotel in every world is you don't have to steal towels. So
steal towel. It's kind of I guess it's a funny line. It was just like okay, it was. I don't know if you call that a bad dad joke. I don't know. That was it seemed like it was kind of funny, but also like
it was a little corny. Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. Corny. That's the right word to use. Yeah. All right. So so we have our.
So we'll move on to memorable lines.
Yeah. So Erik, this was the first one that came up.
Oh yeah, it was Arturo's line about the Wall Street saloons. Like that seems like an unlikely.
A saloon called Wall Street.
An unlikely combination.
Yeah.
It was just the way he said it too. He wasn't like. It was just kind of like he was thinking out loud, like, "Oh, that's an unusual comment."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so this isn't. I mean, it's not a funny line, but this was. I do feel like this was a really good moment, as I alluded to before, when Quinn is racked with guilt and Arturo is saying, not to diminish in any way your sense of remorse, but these people have different values. Life here is cheap. And then Quinn says, dead is dead, Professor. The fact that people don't give a damn doesn't make me feel a whole lot better. So what Arturo said was really good, but it's, and Quinn is like, well, but it should, he's saying that it should matter. And Arturo's just kind of like putting his hand on his shoulder, like, I understand.
And that one line by Quinn actually summed up his character perfectly. Just how he viewed, all these people that he encountered on his journey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and then Erik, you like this too with what Rembrandt says of the poker game.
Yeah. Right. The little lamb going to the slaughter. All right, get out your.
Yeah.
The cards. But if you notice, as he says it, he casually takes off his jacket and he's saying one thing, but his body language is saying the other thing. Like, like, I'm completely going to clean out your pockets here.
Yeah, he's still playing. He's still playing like, oh yeah, I know, I've been playing that. Like, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Let's go. That was really good. Oh, and you like that
still
too.
At the poker table. I really liked Wade's line there is, all I see is a bunch of hearts that don't match.
I know. Yeah, I know that before.
That's just a total facepalm moment.
Now, was she? Did she really? I don't know. Was she saying that? Like, did she actually not know what that meant?
I think she actually didn't know, because when Priscilla said, "Do either of you play poker?" she said, "No," like straight up no.
Oh, okay. So she really
I interpret it as Wade's way of trying to like wrap things up as quickly as possible, because I think she had like a little smirk on her face after everybody kind of went like this, and she's kind of like, I think she knew.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I thought maybe. I saw a little bit of a smirk there, like saying like come on, let's just get out of here. Because
Rembrandt wasn't just going to leave. He was on a winning streak, so
I think
he wanted to keep playing. Yeah.
What did he say too? He said that he was like he played this back when he was like with the Tops or whatever. Like I didn't write it down. I forget what he had said exactly. Anyway, and then that last line that he says, this is a total. I feel like this is a total quantum leap moment too, where Quinn tells Jamie, "I want you to know that it takes a stronger man to put a gun down than it does to fire it in anger." Great line. I feel like that's a Sam Beckett line through and through.
Yes.
The exchange Quinn had with Jamie does reflect Sam's interaction with his host's grandson when it was I think the day after Sam had his bender with Pat Knight, and he sobered up, and he was talking to Jamie, and he was talking to his grandson. He was like, "Look, it takes a stronger man to know when to put the gun down and to resolve your conflicts, peacefully." So it had a lot of, like Damon was saying, it had a lot of parallels between. Now, whether or not that was intentional, who knows?
Okay, so final thoughts and ratings, which is the traditional silly objects out of 10. So Erik, how about you go first?
Yes, overall, I enjoyed the episode, despite its kind of cheesy gunfighting scenes, where everybody's just whipping out the revolvers in the saloon. I found the setting actually to be a character in itself. I felt it really helped tell the story. The sliders were more reactive in this one because Quinn was just kind of like dumped into this situation, and then the characters spent the rest of the time like reacting to it. But by doing that, it revealed a lot about who they were, and overall, you don't get that in the, like I said, in the later seasons. So like, even though the story itself, there's some holes here and there, it wasn't enough to detract me from its enjoyment. So I would actually give it 7 out of 10 stock tickers hanging over the saloon.
All right. I think I feel a lot the same as what you said, Eric. There were a few holes here and there, but overall I felt like the story held together. The setting was done really well in this episode, in my opinion. It really felt like like I said, they established the history of what happened and kind of described why people are doing what they're doing in this civilization. So in the end, I'm going to rate it 8 bunches of hearts that don't match out of 10.
All right. I think originally, maybe I should. Yeah, no, I'm not that crazy about the episode, but I'll bring it up a little bit because there were some things that were, I think some things that we mentioned that kind of made me want to increase it a little bit. I think it's just kind of like what I said before, is I'm just not. It's my personal preference. I am not really big into the Western thing, and this was kind of confusing, like as to it's trying to be a Western, but it's not, and I don't know. I just couldn't really like relate to it too much. But I think like even like with that Easter egg that you pointed out in the notes with the picture in the back with the like, okay, so at least they did try to actually throw in some of that alternate history. So I think I'm increasing my ratings a little bit because like, oh, I didn't notice that beforehand. But yeah, I mean, pretty much for like all those reasons I said, it wasn't like, I felt like the humor wasn't there for the most part, but there was some things. Oh, you're adding something. No, you know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say I could say that one. No, what I was gonna say was I got it. So for the reasons I said before, I'm gonna say 6.5. And now I'm forgetting what I was saying. 6.5 oyster. What was it? The oyster.
Prairie
oysters.
Okay. So I'm gonna give it 6.5 prairie oyster drinks out of 10. I feel bad that I'm rating it kind of low, but like that's just, you know, hey, people like the episode. They like
all the personal.
It wasn't my cup of tea. Anyway.
So we got next up in our production order is As Time Goes By, where we will be once again joined by our good friend Dennis Freimeyer and Damon's sister Devin, who is going to be joining us all the way from Australia.
Yeah, we figured that out. We're gonna do that one. So yeah.
That should be fun. And she'll be in tomorrow. We'll be in today. She'll be in tomorrow.
It's kind of fitting. We'll be like the whole time displacement thing. That's going to be a real fun one to talk about, I think. And I'm just going to say now, I might be doing 2 versions of that video because we want to do something weird with that, but then it might be hard to follow. So I'm probably going to do like a normal version of it and then the actual, just kind of like a sneak peek of what we're thinking of, so, or what I'm thinking of, I should say. It might take me a little longer to edit it too. So it's like we really, I like as of the time we're recording this, I'm really backed up on all this stuff, and I don't know what I was thinking when I said we were trying to do this weekly, but I'm trying my best to try to get this stuff out there. Anyway, before we say all the other stuff, Mike, I'll just say thanks, Eric, for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Eric.
It's always a great time. I can't wait to do it again. If anyone is interested in contacting me, my email address is Erik Dreiling author at Outlook. And you can find my first two books, Operation Silent Serpent and Twilight Hawk, over at jumpmasterpress.com. And they actually streamlined their online library, so it's just a simple search engine. You type in the title, and boom, you got it all.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, you want to take us out, Mike?
Yeah, well, then with that, thanks again, Erik. Be sure to like and subscribe to our faithful viewers. Share your opinions in the comments down below. We will do a roundup in future videos.
Eventually.
In the meantime, you can also visit our, yeah, we didn't today, but we will.
Eventually.
You can also visit our website, fandomentanglement.com, where all of our videos are posted along with a description. So it makes it easier for you to watch the latest one. Our email is fandom.entanglement@gmail.com if you want to send us a old-fashioned email. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/fandomentanglement. That's our group there where you can have a conversation with the other Slideheads. And we're also on Blue Sky at Fandom Entanglement. So we're trying to get more and more interaction on there as well. So follow us, we'll follow you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and with that, until next time, I'm Mike.
I'm Damon.
I'm Erik.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Keep on sliding, everybody.